Hey everyone, today we're predicting the 2026 South Carolina Gamecocks football schedule. Before we get started, if you'd like to see more of my content, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. My YouTube channel's name is Hank CLB predictions and help me reach 100 subscribers. And two, drop a like in this video as well. And three, see comment below what's my prediction on this South Carolina team in 2026. So let's get into it. Before we get into the schedule, let's talk about the 2025 South Carolina Gamecocks. The 2025 season was a very big disappointment for South Carolina. Many people had South Carolina as a playoff team, and with pretty good reason. They still have the Norris Sellers, who led the Norris Sellers on the team. And in 2024, South Carolina went on to have a 9-3 regular season, and we're ranked inside the top 15 in the latest college football playoff rankings. And sure, they lost to Illinois in the Citrus Bowl, I guess, but still, South Carolina has a lot of expectations for 2025. They started the season as the number 13 team of the country, and after their win against Virginia Tech, South Carolina jumped to number 10, a top 10 AP poll team during week 2. And then everything fell apart for South Carolina. They had a 2-0 start, but they get blown out by Vanderbilt and losing to Missouri. But then they would get a win against Kentucky to jump back right above 500 at 3-2. But then South Carolina would lose their next 5 games of the year, dropping them to 3-7 on the year. And then South Carolina would win against a weaker team, a team in a weaker conference to improve to 4-7, but they would lose to Clemson in the final week, dropping to 4-8. From a top 10 team to 4-8, not even making to a bowl game. Yeah, South Carolina the 2025 South Carolina Gamecocks was regarded as one of the biggest disappointments in all the college football last season. So what's their prediction? What's my prediction on this team? Well, let's get into it. Here's the schedule. They have 2 easy games against Kent State and Towson. But then here comes the SEC slate before the Clemson game. In week 3 against Mississippi State. Mississippi State went to a bowl game last year, even though they finished 5-7. And they actually finished better, better than South Carolina 5-8 compared to South Carolina's 4-8. And then against Alabama. This is going to be a tough opponent, especially playing Alabama on the road is one of the toughest places to play. Week 5 against Kentucky, it could be a 50-50 game, but I guess it could be, a parity, something like that. Maybe Kentucky would win, maybe South Carolina would win, but I don't know. Week 6 against Florida, one of the toughest places to play, as again, after the bye week, they'll have Tennessee at home, Oklahoma on the road, Texas A&M at home. Week 11 against Arkansas could be a trap game. Week 12 against Georgia and Week 13 against Clemson on the road. So what's my prediction on this team? I have South Carolina beating Kent State and beating Towson. But I have them losing to Alabama on the road, losing to Oklahoma on the road, losing to Texas A&M at home, losing to Georgia at home. These 4 teams are playoff teams last year. And week 13 are playoff teams last year. And week 13 against Clemson, we saw what Clemson did to South Carolina last year. Expect South Carolina to lose to Clemson. So I have them losing at least 5 games. And then I could see them possibly winning or losing against the following opponents. Mississippi State, Kentucky at home, both of them at home. Week 6 against Florida on the road. Week 8 against Tennessee at home. And Week 11 against Arkansas on the road. So what's my prediction on this team? I have the floor as 2-10, but if everything went towards their way, I have them going as high as 7-5, but not higher than 7-5. Not better than 7-5. So my prediction, if I were to predict in the middle, I have them going 5-7, 5-7, just falling well short of a bowl game. I guess South Carolina going 5-7 is fair. So yeah.